What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of On the Road with D. And today I've got a very, very, very special guest. I've got Liwu. I don't know if you want to introduce yourself.
Uh, yeah, my name is Liu. I'm from China, and I rap. Um, no, yeah, my name is Liu. I'm a rapper. I'm a husband. I am a father to be, and I am I'm many things. I'm an engineer. I'm a Christian. You can pick whatever order you want to put that list of what I am in.
That's great. Well, glad to have you here. Liwu is a very, very good friend and brother of mine. And I'm so excited because, I mean, you've just dropped your album. I want to say it's your debut album, but I don't want to be wrong. Because, I mean...
Yeah, technically it is. Technically it is.
Yeah.
I mean, we've put out music.
Yeah,
Yeah, we put out music obviously in the past.
The Before the Answer, collection, but not really a full, I guess, album with the title album. Because I think the other bodies of work were pretty good as well. So you've just put out your first album, and I think when I was thinking about the podcast episode, like obviously it's exciting to have somebody who's just put out, what many are calling the best album to come out of the country this year, and just everybody's excited about it. And it's dope, but it's also one of the things I wanted us to have this conversation is the slow cooking aspect of it, which I think I really liked because it's like, you've been in the game for what, like 10 years now? I don't know.
I'm an OG. I'm a proper OG.
Yeah, like you're a proper OG, but this is your first album. And even looking back historically, when you guys were at your prime as Nyali music and Christian hip hop was, selling out places, you could have put out an album then, right? And so it's like, when it comes to like working on something slowly and, putting out music, not because of pressure, not because of anything, but because it's the right time. How are you feeling?
Yeah.
Are you feeling like, man, I'm a late bloomer? Are you feeling like, man, it's even too soon, I should have waited till 50? Or are you feeling like, this is the time?
Yeah, that's I just feel really relieved right now to be honest, because it feels like a monkey off my back. Just because we've had there's a lot of things that we've done, like you've mentioned projects that we've done before with Nyali Music as well. I think that was I was gonna say Before I Sleep, but that's not Nyali Music. But like Break the Silence. There's just been a lot of momentum like leading up to this, and I think for me the worry was always going to be like, when is it gonna come? Like when is everybody knew that Liwu could rap, everybody knew that we could do good songs, maybe even singles, but like I feel like it just wasn't the time before, because there just wasn't any like life experiences worth like making something really, really good. And I guess you can't force that process, and for some people it comes really early. Some people go through all the stages of life by the time that they're 18, and some people it doesn't. And so I just had to allow myself to go through that and like make music from those experiences. Otherwise it wouldn't sound the same if it wasn't.
Yeah. And I mean, it sounds like it was meant to come out now. You get what I mean? Like, I think as somebody who's been a fan of your work, and I've literally almost listened to every single thing you've put out, and I still listen to, like, Still Be Up For the Answer is actually one of my favorites. But this content-wise feels definitely mature, and I love how it feels like this is grown folk music, but it's not like boring, like you're talking about very important things, but it's not boring. It's not like, when Chance the Rapper dropped his most recent album and he was talking about his wife and being married, and everybody was like, oh, what a terrible album, because now people are like, we can't relate to what you're saying.
I love Chance. Chance is my guy.
Yeah,
I think Chance.
It was a great album. I love that album, but it's sometimes when rappers, are grown and mature, the way in which they present the
Yeah.
music tends to have a disconnect with their younger audiences. But I think you've done that so well in keeping everything fresh and keeping it like current and fun and everything. And I think
Yeah.
the collabs are one of the ways in which that's happened. And I think, I mean, we're going to talk about it more. But I want to ask, I mean, the last time we spoke about the album casually, I just remembered this like today when I was listening to the album again. The title is going to be I Rap What I Like. Do you remember that? What happened? And then it's now titled as
Yeah.
nothing. You've got people naming babies after your album. So how did it move?
Yeah, that's
from
crazy.
I Rap What I Like, which is like a nod to Steve Biko, obviously, and then to I
Yeah,
Rap.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, so you're right. Like I rhyme what I like. That was what we were gonna call it. And now that I think about it, like there's like, man, what was I thinking? Like Alinafe was just right there knocking on my door. But I think also it's just a testament to like what the album is it's me being comfortable in my skin. It's me not trying to run away or hide from my identity. And I feel like for a long time that especially growing up in the church, I feel like there's a certain sort of a sound that you're supposed to make. And and I feel like I for a long time I had to make that sound, which a lot of it was things that I would relate with, but a lot of it was like some maybe theological stuff that just kind of felt like it's coming from my head, but I don't really like I'm not vibing with it. So for a long time it's really been about like, okay, how do I come out of this shell and like just break free and be who I am? And so, it was literally just me looking inside and figuring out, what, my other name, like my parents named me Alinafe.
Oh,
that's my
really?
middle name. So yeah,
You think
for
you know
sure. So that's
somebody?
like
Jerry, I've known you for like 7 years now, and I just didn't know
no.
that was your name.
No. The cat is out of the bag. So like I've like, you know what, like let me bring this part, like this is as authentic a part of me as anything that I am. And so, when I decided to do that, I feel like I just was unleashed and decided to tell my story without trying to sound politically or like religiously correct and all of that. So I just feel like before there was a lot of trying to like do the right thing and say the right stuff. But I feel like after just figuring out that I am who I am and there's no one else who can be me, I feel like that just really liberated me to tackle the topics that I wanted to tackle in the styles that I wanted to do as well. Because like a lot of people don't know, but like I'm from a very musical background, and my mom is a Maya Mvano. She's been that since I can remember. My dad is a choir master. My brother plays every instrument I can think about. So like we grew up like jamming to like just all sorts of like gospel, reggae, and all that stuff in the house. But for a long time, like I was like just this, like people kind of knew me as an underground rapper. So I was like, but that's not who I really am. Like my influences are very musical. So I just wanted to bring that part as well. We sang hymns every evening at home, during Bible study. And I was like, yo, let me bring that into my album. And yeah, it looks like people resonated with it.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, it explains a lot, because even like a lot of like the choral sounds and like the album is very musical, and I think that's kind of like one of the things that like was pleasantly surprising the more I've been listening. I've been like, wow, it's growing on me. But I'm curious now that you've brought up your parents, because I know how much of musical nerds they are, especially your dad.
Yeah.
What do your parents
Yeah.
feel about the album? Like, have they listened to it? Are they like, we support you?
Yeah, so it's funny because when I was we used to have this back and forth with my dad all the time. He always said like rap was not music. Like he called it something else, like some form of poetry or whatever, because it didn't like it didn't like sort of conform to music theory. I mean, my dad like plays like tonic solfa and like all that like stuff, and so it's kind of hard to please him from a musical point of view. But I think he definitely appreciates the the role that rap has in terms of like just being very symbolic and being very poetic. And so I think when we brought up Broken Jeans is when he started to really pay attention. And I remember him like having a discussion with his friend, because his friend was like, yo, what's your son talking about in his music? And he's like, no, it's actually metaphorical, right? He's, and so for me, it was like, wait, like he's actually like understanding that, like this is really a form of expression that's very different from stuff that they may be accustomed to. And I mean, there's been songs we've done in the past like Ulendo, which have been like sort of grown folk friendly, and they've been very supportive of that. And I think with this album, the first thing was, I think somebody may have told him that your son is talking about you in a song, and so he texted me and he said, "Yo, I've heard you saying that I used to drop you at high school," and I was like, "What are you talking about?" It's like, "Yeah, I heard you made a song that you're talking about how I used to drop you to school," and I was like, "Oh snap!" It's just, but yeah, it's always interesting. I mean, as I said, my family is very nerdy when it comes to music and many other things. So it's always very interesting when we like dissect the topics and talk about it from that point of view. So yeah, I'm just really blessed to have them be my influences. And there's a lot of things that I do actually attribute even in the album to them.
That's good. I mean, I thought that the song they're gonna say that they heard was the last song where you're like shouting out your parents and all these people, because that was kind of cute.
Yeah, that's a dope song. I like that. God's Love as well. I think I made them listen to it way before, and I think they were like, "Yo, you should really like." I was like, "Yo, this is coming on an album," and they're like, "Yeah, you should really send it to me when it's actually." It was like, "Yo, can I have this song?" And I was like, "No, you can only have it after the album is out." But yeah, they. But again, with my dad, it's like, okay, who wrote this song? Like, what was the progression on the first part of the song? Like, okay, how did So it's really like technical. So it's really
Well, I want to go back to, I guess, some of the things you alluded to before about the pressure. You said, like, you've always been an underground artist, which I was like, I guess you are. Because for me, like, as somebody who came into Christian hip hop around the time, I want to say when it's kind of like at its peak-ish, I've always known you as a Christian hip hopper, So I've always known you guys, Nyali music and you and whatever. So for me, like, I don't think about you as Liwu's the underground artist. I think Liwu the Christian hip hop artist. But there are people who, be like, oh, underground. And I guess the underground scene has its own expectations, but the Christian hip hop scene has its own pressure and expectations that come from being a Christian creative. And I think as a Christian creative myself, like, I understand that pressure. And so, like, when it comes to even collaborations, right? Did you have any pressure or any expectation and just feeling like I only need to collab with people from the church? Because there's a lot of people that are, people that you wouldn't think, oh, let's have this person on a Christian hip hop record, but they end up being really great, and it really just becomes about the music. But when it comes to being a Christian creative, unfortunately, it's never just about the art. It's also about who you make your art with, who mixed it, are they saved and sanctified, all those pressures, which I really other people projecting their expectations on you, right? So how did you feel any pressure? And if you did, how did you handle it?
You know what? I actually didn't, because I just think that, I think the lifestyle is more important in most cases than some of these other things. And I think people are smart enough to see through that. People know who's real and who's not. So I don't really need to prove that, I am featuring a pastor in every song. Just for it to feel like authentically Christian, because I feel like people know that there's a lot of people out there who are quote unquote gospel artists, but are very, very far away from living the gospel life. So I don't, I think we're living in a society now where there's enough information out there for people to make judgments for themselves. And I have no pressure whatsoever, because I feel like the music is authentic. Like, if you go through each one of those collaborations, it wasn't anything forced. It was something that came out of real deep conversations, and every song with every person on the album is a song that only they could do, right? Like, there's no way that anyone else is doing the song that we did with George, right? And it won't come out the same way. So, I was talking to a renowned gospel artist. I won't mention his name, but he was like, "Bro, like the reality is," and he's well traveled. He's done all these mega shows in different countries, and it was like, "Bro, the reality is that most of these gospel rappers that or even just gospel musicians that you see out there are not even Christian." And what's ironic is most of the Christian artists that you see out there are not necessarily branded gospel either. So I think we're at a place now where some of these boxes that we've traditionally been fit into are, I think they're falling on their sides, just because you can't fake your lifestyle. People can see through it, and you can't fake what you really believe in. You could we could talk about just the abuses that go on in the church. We could talk about the rape culture, and we could talk about so many things that are going on in the church that are you just going to sleep on that because, I don't know if I want to break that right now.
You kind of already are going in there, because, literally
I think I should
my next question is really just a little humble brag, because I remember when you sent me Dear Daughter, when was that, a year ago? And I don't know if it changed, because I listened to it and it sounds different, and you hear lines like, "Dear daughter, a bishop," what's that line? "A bishop can't knock down a queen," right?
Yeah.
And I love that line.
Yeah, remember baby girl, what's a queen to a bishop?
Exactly. And you're literally talking about those abuses, and there's different things you talk about in Dear Daughter, and there's other songs like Don't Shoot, and even in Go, you're tackling really real. There's so many songs I feel like I can be here. The high school song, you're talking about real things that we are all going through. And on one hand, it's, as a Malawian, it's yes, I'm glad somebody's talking about how frustrating it is to live in this country, try to make it in this country, and the challenges that we have and all these things. But you're also talking about the issues about women, and especially now, who would have thought that when you recorded Dear Daughter, I don't know how long it was, over a year ago, it would be coming out at a time like this where, there's numbers of rapes and abuses are exponentially coming to light in a way that is just unbelievable. But what do you why is it important for you as an artist to weigh in, to use your music and make music that allows you to weigh in on social conversations?
Because they affect us. I say, even in Dear Daughter or in Go, for instance, these are things that unfortunately, I just feel like there isn't enough artists that are relating with everyday life. So, for instance, we all know that, especially where we come from, you have to sort of know someone to get, ahead. You need to bribe someone to get your business working and stuff like that. And these are just things that we all know and we all just have to live with. But we don't have them we don't have people checking them whether or not they are, people are talking about them behind the scenes. And I just feel somebody texted me to say, thank you for talking about the stuff that we are all thinking about behind the scenes, but we're not just maybe bold enough or whatever to bring them out to light. And it's not an easy thing, but the reality is these things do affect us, whether it's us personally or whether it's somebody that we know. There is abuses that are affecting us. There is, orphans that are living with us. There is, voices that are marginalized that unfortunately, are not celebrated, and we almost brush them aside in society, and we only celebrate we're living in a very we only celebrate you if you're successful. So if you go on LinkedIn, you go on Instagram, you go on Twitter, if you're not graduating from that school with a distinction, then it's almost like your story is not being told. And so it's creating an illusion of those are those used to be outliers, right? Like getting a distinction in college used to be something that would be like 1 out of 100 students, but it's almost like an expectation in our society now. And but what's going to happen to the person who failed, who got withdrawn? Do they not matter in our society anymore? Just because we only celebrating successes or what we define as successes, and so I just want to make music for those other people. And I think the reason why we've managed to get a little bit of a good feedback is because those other ordinary people are actually the majority of people, and they relate with that message. I say something in the song in I think Jifana. I say, look, I do this for the kids who don't have a daddy, whose life's divided, no one check up on their mathematics, right? So like there's just so many people who are actually living these realities of being either in a family where their father is not paying for their school fees because is paying some other mistress. You know someone, I know someone, but how come we're not talking about it? So I think when you do music that addresses those issues, I just think that people see through even who you are as an artist, and they just relate with those issues.
Exactly, because you're making music that makes people feel seen, and like that's the one thing we all want, right? To feel seen and to feel like our experiences are validated and that we're important. And I think that's certainly something that your album does very clearly, as you've said. One of my other questions hearing you speak was, obviously, like, you're an engineer, you're one of the smartest people I know, one of the wisest people I know. You are, a husband, a brother, a friend, and a coder, and like you're doing all this. Like, there's one line you talk about getting this master's just to come and prescribe, this Panadols or something like that.
Panadols.
Yeah. And I mean, you're not a doctor, so that's not what you're doing. But I remember a couple of years ago, you wrote an article on LinkedIn that, Malawian IT people, and IT obviously in Malawi just means like software developers, programmers, all of you are in one box. But you wrote an article where you come back home and you just fix photocopiers, and so, and it's like, I listened to that and I remembered that LinkedIn article, and I was like, oh, it's like, life inspired by art inspires life and vice versa. And so how does just your normal everyday life as like Jeremiah affect like the artistry and impact the artistry?
And and that's the thing, like you can't remove those two. You can't be like on a pedestal, Liwu or whatever, and like in real life, no, you have to be Alinafi. You have to be who you are.
I mean imagine telling your wife like, man, babe, I can't wash the dishes today. I've got a #1 album out on Deezer.
No, that doesn't fly. The cockroaches don't hear that. The cockroaches don't even know that you are like, they don't even know who you are. So my point is like, I just think that I am who I am in terms of like those things before those titles, and I'm just trying to reflect that in the music, to be honest with you. Like, and that's one of the things that you asked me earlier on is like, it's been a slow process and stuff like that. I just think that it's been the perfect time. I think that, if we make this project or whatever, like 5 years ago, I just think that even the way I would deal with it would be different. But now I just think I have seen enough to realize that I am not a big deal. Okay. And I am just a voice. And when that happens, like, I don't even need the validation. I don't even need the 10K followers on Twitter. I really don't. I'm on there. I promote my music and I delete the app and I move on and I just go back to writing code and being an employee. And I just think that that's very liberating for me. And I can make another album next year or 3 years or 5 years, and it doesn't matter. So, and I just think I'm in a very privileged place to be, even to be able to have that option or have that choice. I do realize a lot of artists can't, and a lot of artists have to sort of play the game and play the industry. But when you speak to them, they'll tell you that that's not who they are. The chains and all of that, gimmicks is not who they are. And for me to just be who I am, and like you meet me on the street, what I am in Don't Shoot is exactly what I am like struggling to negotiate with the landlord to come and fix your plumbing. That's just real. So when you don't divorce yourself from the music, I just think you've got so much content there, because every life experience is something that you could translate into music. And the beauty is, people also, the majority of the people are in that same situation. So it's really a beautiful thing.
I really like resonate with what you said about how when you create from that place of security and you knowing like this album is coming out not from any pressure or whatever, but from you reaching a point where you're like, I'm very content with what I've written and I feel like it's the right thing to put it out, that you're not validated for anything from anything else outside of that. So even if like the album is doing great and you're getting a lot of love, but if you were in a place where, man, two people, Diana and your wife, listen to the album, you would have been content. It sounds like to me you'd have been content either way. And I think that's something as a creative it resonates, because like you do have to get to that point where you are not validated by outside things, because we have a lot of outside voices, especially at this point in time with social media and like the likes and the retweets, and it's like it's very easy to find yourself trapped in that where you're like, man, you didn't share my thing, that means you don't like it.
Yeah. I mean, you always remember the one person who didn't retweet you, even if you get like 1,000 retweets, right? You always remember the one person. And I guess for me, shout out to David, Pastor D. I think that song retweet was just me trying to relate with that feeling of our day, where like, there's that one person that you just look forward to them like validating you. But look, also the reality is, it's good to be validated. Nothing wrong with it. I'm not out here trying to say like, like I'm not like being judged or anything. Like it's really good to be validated. Like, we've got so much great feedback from the project, and it really feels great. It really feels encouraging. It feels like, we're not like rapping in the abyss or like in some vacuum somewhere. So it really is good to be validated. Like, don't get me wrong. All I'm just trying to say is that that can't be the main reason I feel for doing what you're doing, because those validations. I mean, you put out a fire song today, and tomorrow, like, you're just an ordinary other person, and if you're not careful as an artist, that could really drive you crazy.
I have a few questions. I asked some people on Twitter and some on my WhatsApp what questions they have for you. And so I want to ask you some of those questions.
Sure.
I think the first one is kind of a weird question, because this person said, if I got my facts right, congrats on the new baby. How has life somersaulted with the baby's arrival? And I think they like listened to one of the songs and thought you were talking about yourself. So I don't know how you want to answer that question.
Yeah, I've got a lot of baby references in the music, so I totally don't blame them. No, we've got a baby on the way. It's not born yet. Maybe by the time that this is like you're hearing this, maybe. So yeah, we'll see how life goes there. But it's just a lot of the songs that I wrote were from a point of view of, I'm not a kid. I've got a lot of my friends are married. A lot of my friends have kids, and I was also just trying to tap from that energy, and like I know the struggles that they go through, and the joys that they go through as well, and stuff like that. So, but thank you. I will definitely let you know how it goes. And also, if you like don't hear anything, if you just see me go like very quiet for like months and months, just know that I'm probably like changing diapers or whatever.
It's hectic. Sam asked, will the feature with Classic ever work?
Classic hit me up, and we've chopped it up. We've had conversations. Again, for me, the features have to come from a place of like somewhere where we both connect, and it just can't be like something that you're just like, hey, I like Classic, or I like XYZ. So we are chopping it up, and we are talking, and there's a lot of things that we strongly feel about society, about art, about life, that it's just a matter of time before we really, really struck a hot rod, as far as that's concerned. So yeah, I keep that one open. Let's hope that happens sooner than later.
Yeah. Somebody asked, why are you so good?
I just pray a lot.
I knew it. I was hoping that's what you would say. I was like, as a fan, there's only one right answer. There is only one right answer.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Also. No, you're the real one. You're the real one. So for you to even catch that, and also like in Alinafi, there's a lot of joints that we put in there for the real ones. Just like we just threw it back to like some of the old jams, but and also yeah, I mean, Broken Jeans is pray a lot in verse. So yeah.
Yeah. And speaking of Broken Jeans, somebody said, when are we getting a shirt in the Okwacha?
I don't think that's gonna ever happen. Although we're looking at some really dope merch for this album, so be on the lookout for that.
Yeah. And then I got another question from Andrew. Says, what inspired you to use storytelling in your songs like RT, Don't Shoot? Yeah.
Yeah, because every rapper was bragging, and I was listening to every rap album that came out, and it felt like it's all about being the best, and I felt that I don't relate with that, because yeah, so I just wanted to say stories, especially of stuff that I've been through. Like a lot of the things that are in my album are loosely based on reality, my own experiences. So I just felt like I wanted to. I didn't relate with the other stuff that was coming out because I just felt like it was about, how many vehicles you could buy, and like I'm like, a lot of my peers that I know that are buying vehicles are getting loans from the bank, and that's just not resonating with me right now. You know what I mean? And no rapper's talking about that. So yeah,
that's facts. More questions.
Sure.
Another person said, why do you lead a private life? So I'm guessing, people want to, know a little bit about your life, and they're like, I don't know this man's like that. Why is that?
The music says it all. I just think I'm an artist, and I'm not like a social media influencer, right? So I know that it's very hard to differentiate the two in this era, but I'm not a social media influencer. That's not my trade. I don't get paid to do posts about my life. So I get paid to make music, and if you want to know my life, you buy my album.
And then lastly, I mean, somebody asked, how did the collab with Seven or More? Is that how you say his name?
Yes.
But like, first of all, I'm like, who is Seven or More? I know him, but I'm thinking what I'm hearing in the album. But you said it's an interesting collaboration. How did it come about?
Yeah, like mutual respect, man. Seven or More. I met him at we were doing the cypher for the UMP, I think for 2019, and he was the one producing that cypher. And we were there, doing the bars and everything, and it was like, I said, Udijani. And then we just started chopping it up, and there was just a mutual respect. I just felt that he's such a great soul. And he's a pure artist as well. And, I've been a fan of him since 7C. I just felt that he's a storyteller. He's a movie director. He's a videographer. He's a pure artist, in my opinion. And so for me to have broken like that tension and just created a mutual respect with him, man, I'm a big fan of Seven, and I mean the imagery in his music is amazing, and then his voice and his energy, and so when we were thinking about doing High School, I was like, yeah, bro, I need that energy on the song, and he doesn't even say much. He just goes. It's just amazing. It's just
Brought some sauce to the song that I don't think would have been there otherwise.
Yeah.
So it was a good choice. Like,
No,
now
shout out.
I need to.
Yeah, shout out to Seven or More, and mad respect, mad respect. Thank you for the for the love and for the support, and be on the lookout as well. Hint, hint. I won't mention many things, but be on the lookout for some good things.
All right. Okay. And my last question is, what are you most proud of about the album?
Oh man, that's a tough one. I think that, being true to myself and like not hiding who I am and my story is something that I'm most proud of because like, especially in something like high school, right? If you have been in the situation that I was in, where you go to Polytechnic or you go to Chanko, but you went to this, like quote unquote, like international school, and just the pressure that you go through from people, just like, just the mean things that people say, and like, it's liberating for me to be able to speak for those people, and they may be in the minority, but it's still something that they go through. And it's the most painful thing is for you to feel like you're a foreigner in your own country, or you're treated as one. And so for me to remain true to that and not like try to shy away, but also realize that the opposite is true on the other side of the fence as well. So I just think that to be able to, the beauty with the thing I'm most proud about my music is, there is no, it's not right. It's just true. Okay. It might not be right, but it's true. And I can if I'm never going to make music again, at least I know that I gave you truth and my truth. And that's the thing that I'm most proud about.
Yeah. And that's beautiful. I mean, I don't know if this matters or not, but as somebody who has been lucky enough to know you on a personal level, I did feel like that album is true to who I know you to be. And there's a lot of gems, man. Like, sometimes I'm like, I just need you to open a Genius page and just tell us, break it down for us. Because there's times where I listen, and this is why I still listen to your stuff from way back, because every time I'm like, now I'm smart enough to know what you meant that I didn't pick up, So I know for sure I wasn't really now. And finally be like, oh, so you meant like Bishop and Queen as like the chessboard, but also like, like, I love that. Because I'm just it marinates over time, and it gets...
What's your favorite line? I mean, I'm sorry to put you on the spot.
I don't know if I have one. I honestly don't know if I have one.
Oh, what's a line that when you got it, or when it slapped and you're like, oh, okay, you know what I mean?
I think the Bishop and Queen one, simply because I think the song is important, and I think when you went there and talked about things that happen within us as a church community, I was like that was so important, because I think it's easy for us like to talk about like 50-year-old man rapes an 11-year-old girl. Like, I think most people, anybody in the right mind sees how obviously wrong that is, and so that's easy to point out, because the entire anyone in their right mind in the country is like, that is horrible. But there's other things that are happening right under our noses that we know are happening. We know that there's,
and we cover these people up.
Yeah, we cover these people up.
We cover these people up. And some...
Yeah.
Sorry to cut you, but some of these are your favorite artists.
Yeah, some of them are our favorite artists, and we don't want to face the fact that my favorite artist beats up his wife, and we all know about it. Nobody's just bringing it up. My favorite pastor is abusive to people in the congregation, and we're not bringing it up. And so when you did, I was like, and you did it creatively, so, and I got it. I was like, oh, I don't be messing with chess like that, but I feel like there's a lot. Like, I think I'm just gonna start a thread. I'm gonna start with a thread on Twitter, but every time I get it, I'm like, oh, that's what you were saying. But I think for now, I've just been enjoying the songs. I've been enjoying the
I
songs
appreciate
themselves
it.
and just like vibing. High School, Not There is my favorite because Kim just like
Oh yeah, yeah.
you and Kim were
Kim's
just. I was like,
incredible.
I just never saw that duo coming, but you know, it's the
Yeah.
combo I didn't know I needed, but it was so good.
No, Kim's amazing. Kim's amazing, and she's such a perfectionist as well. Like, yeah.
So Not There, High School. I really love God's Love. Alinafe. What else did I like a lot? I think like off the top of my head, those are like
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah.
very excited for you and to see like everybody embracing you. I think that's beautiful to see because like as much as being an underground artist is great, it's also great to be embraced and especially by your own people, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I don't know if you have any thoughts before we go, anything you wanted to talk about before we bounce.
Yeah, I mean, just thank you for staying true to your calling as well. Thanks. I mean, with you were from way back, like you were doing the blog. I'm not a goddess, and you know, I mean, just to see your evolution as well, and you know, but also thanks for like keeping me in check. For I think one time you said like, "Yo, one thing I really like about your what you're doing is like you're really putting the ladies on," and I didn't even notice, right? Because I mean, we've done Broken Jeans, we had Grace, we've done Orlando, we had Calista, and like even in this album, there's just but you always like, yes, exactly, you know, you always like made sure that from like some of the social narratives that I may not be going through personally, like you would light that up directly or indirectly, and so that gives me like more ammunition to like, yo, we can't be talking about us being there as a culture when we're like completely marginalizing this. So yeah, just thanks for doing your thing and taking your lane, and yeah, that's just to encourage you as well to be like, yeah. Keep doing what you're doing and keep shining the light, and we're out here, we're watching and we're supporting you.
Oh, thanks. That's so cute. That is so cute. And yeah, where do people get the album? Anything you want to plug? Anything you want to tell them? You know, where do we buy? Free download, donations, Cash App, Pesa,
Get
Airtel money.
Alinafe. Getalinafe.com. All right, it's very simple. Just go to getalinafe.com. All the information is there. You could download one song, you could download all the songs, you could download the whole album if you want. You could go stream. All the stream links are there. You could donate. You could join the Awakened, and like you could do the thing, and like no, shout out to everybody who's also like just really being generous with their contributions. We're getting people who are like, yo, my kids listen to your music and they really like it, and so I'm donating on their behalf and stuff like that. So like that's just really, really amazing. So but most importantly, like if you like the music, share it with your friends and families, because that's what we do it for. It's to impact other people. Don't keep it to yourself. And really appreciate it. Be on the lookout for some more stuff that we'll be releasing. There's definitely videos coming out. There's definitely jam sessions that are coming out. We're planning some acoustic stuff. So be on the lookout for that. Liwu on Twitter and Instagram. That's Li_WOO. And like Liwu Music on Facebook. That's where I'm going to keep you guys updated with what's coming next. So yeah, thanks for the support. Getalinafe.com. That's what's up.
Well, you heard it. Getalinafe.com, and yeah, get it everywhere you listen to music. It's free if you don't have money. But yeah, I think I'm thinking of doing a giveaway of some sort. So watch out. I might do like an Airtel bundle giveaway, not Airtel money. Like bundle giveaway, not Airtel bundle. Bundle giveaway to people to download the album. I feel like that would be fun, but
yeah,
might wait after payday for that.
I like how you keep it real.
Thank you so much. Yeah, like for being 100, I might have to wait for next week.
Yeah, and also I love the locks. It's I see you've been really, really at it.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this has been fun. I'm gonna cap our recording here, and shout out to the media team on your end as well. And
shout out to Jeremiah. Shout out to, should I mention you guys' names? No, I'm not going to embarrass them. But yeah, shout out to everybody who's behind this production.